My friends, since I sounded the alarm about YouTube unsubscribing many of you without your permission, you good people have rallied and I've gotten back thousands of subscribers. That said, every day I receive word from viewers that they've been unsubscribed, many for the second or even third time. Please check to make sure you're still subscribed, and if you are not a subscriber, please do subscribe, click the notification bell, and help us in our war to save pop culture. Thank you for listening, and now, on to the video. My friends, despite a recent rebound of their stock associated with a number of unique and probably transitory factors we won't go into here, Disney is in a state of crisis at this moment. The Grim Squeaker once again roams the halls of the Magic Kingdom, and everyone in Disney's C-suite is nervous. There are a number of reasons for this sense of impending doom. The most immediate and obvious reason is the stunning failure of the Marvels, a very public and undeniable humiliation at a time when Disney really needed some holiday cheer in the form of good news. And while the stock rallying out of the $80 a share gutter is indeed good news for Disney, the Marvels has rained all over that particular parade. But even worse than that, the failure of the Marvels has put some tough lead in the pencil of activist investor Nelson Peltz, who almost certainly will use this spectacular failure to add justification and momentum to his hostile takeover bid to storm the Disney boardroom and force major changes at Disney, changes that fans have been clamoring for years. Gordon Gekko, in the movie Wall Street, famously said, "Greed is good." Well, I don't know about that as a general principle, but I do know that when it comes to an entertainment company, greed is good for fans. After all, how does an entertainment company make a lot of money? By producing hits. Good entertainment that's entertaining. That's what audiences want to pay for. Disney has seemingly been out of the entertainment business for a long time now, making expensive flop after expensive flop, all because they're making the socially manipulative movies they want us to want, rather than making the movies we actually want. It's like going out to a fancy restaurant ready for a fabulous steak dinner, and the chef insists on serving you pizza instead. Not really much of a business model, is it? It's this sort of idiocy that explains why Disney has gone from a beloved brand to a pariah, beset by failures on all sides, like the Marvels, like Disney World in Florida, like the shuttered Galactic Star Cruiser Hotel, like Snow Woke and the 7 Methadone Addicts. And it is these failures, and others like it, that are fueling Nelson Peltz in his hostile takeover bid, a bid that has Iger and the board trembling in their boots. Indeed, when asked about Nelson Peltz in a recent CNBC interview, Iger stuttered and sputtered in reply and seemed visibly shaken at the mere mention of Peltz's name. This is no joke, folks. Disney is facing a serious threat from Nelson Peltz's Trian Fund Management, bolstered by Ike Perlmutter's vast stock proxy, and things are quickly coming to a head when board nominations are just around the corner. The abject failure of the Marvels could not come at a worse time for Disney because it only helps make Peltz's point. Change is needed in the Magic Kingdom, and Peltz is ready to bring it, even if he has to ram it down Mickey's throat.
The first step in recovery is admitting that you have a problem. Iger has kind of admitted that, talking about needing to step back and favor quality over quantity. Thanks to all the failures, Marvel will only release one movie next year, Deadpool 3. Yep. I think Nelson Peltz is bringing an intervention to good old Mickey, whether he likes it or not.
Oh, he doesn't like it, Harvey Cthulhu. Oh, he doesn't like it at all. In a moment, I'll be talking about the emergency meetings happening at Disney over the past few weeks, with more on the way. But before we do that, to put this latest failure in perspective, I want to quote an article that just appeared in Forbes today, titled, "Like It or Not, the Marvels has now bombed in every way possible." In that article, they break it down thusly, quote, The Marvels had the lowest MCU domestic opening ever, 46 million. The Marvels has the lowest MCU global opening ever, 110 million. The Marvels has the largest week 2 drop-off of any superhero movie ever, minus 78%. Although the figure given by Screen Rant is 87% drop-off, but regardless, 78%, 87%, it's bad. The Marvels is the third lowest scored MCU movie in series history on Rotten Tomatoes, 62%. The Marvels got a rare B CinemaScope, tying it with Eternals and Quantumania, the lowest in MCU history. The Marvels is expected to end its theatrical run with $210 million to $240 million at the global box office, under its $270 million budget, and that would be, you guessed it, the lowest total for an MCU movie ever, unquote. It also does not take into account how much they spent on marketing this damn failure.
Failure, thy name is Disney. There really isn't much more to say than that, is there? In every single possible metric, The Marvels is an ultimate fail at a time when Disney desperately needed a win to take the wind out of Nelson Peltz's sails. Instead, Peltz got a trade wind that may well result in Iger getting traded for Peltz.
The timing could not be worse for Disney. This is what Disney surely feared, and that might explain why Disney allegedly spent so much money on advertising The Marvels, to try everything they could to drive people to theaters and avert the very public embarrassment of a flop. And instead of that, they got the worst flop of all time. And now Nelson Peltz's hounds are baying at the gates of Cinderella's castle. How scared is Disney? My Hollywood spies told me that some kind of emergency meeting is happening today, possibly even as you're watching this video, and we know that panicked meetings have taken place in the recent past. In an article titled "Hostile Takeover All But Confirmed After Alleged Emergency Meeting," SK Pop writes, quote, "The Walt Disney Company's halls are resonating with the echoes of an impending corporate upheaval. The catalyst for this shift is an emergency meeting orchestrated by CEO Bob Iger and billionaire investor Nelson Peltz. Steering the ship of Trian Fund Management, which boasts a hefty $8.5 billion under its belt, he has upped the ante in his quest for influence in the iconic entertainment company. That paints a picture of a company at a crossroads of a hostile takeover, grappling with changing public expectations, internal challenges, and external pressures from investors," unquote. In this article, they discuss the anxiety of employees at Disney who fear coming changes and possible layoffs due to Nelson Peltz's hostile takeover bid, and they cite a crucial meeting intended to calm employee fears. Why is this hostile takeover bid coming? The article continues, quote, "In the backdrop of these corporate maneuvers, the company faces mounting criticism over its recent strategic choices. The crux of the discontent lies in the perceived shift away from the company's core ethos of creating universally appealing, family-friendly content. Critics argue that the company has ventured too far into the realm of political activism, overshadowing its legacy of enchanting storytelling. This alleged ideological shift has not only potentially diluted the company's brand identity, but also risks alienating a significant portion of its traditional audience space. Adding another layer to this unfolding drama is Nelson Peltz of Trian Fund Management. Peltz has been steadily increasing his investment in the company, signaling his intent for substantial strategic changes. His message is clear. Disney should prioritize profitability over political engagement," unquote.
Exactly what we've been saying all along, Doomcock. Greed is good. Greed is the fuel for capitalism. And capitalism, accountability to investors starved for dividends, these business safety rails ensure that companies try to create the best possible product to generate profits. But when profit is no longer the primary motive, You get shit like the Marvels, folks. It would seem that Nelson Peltz agrees with that statement, Harvey Cthulhu, and that is why so many of us are desperately hoping Peltz pulls this off. Frankly, we're sick of being served up garbage slathered in rainbow-colored wokeness.
Hey, you guys are preaching to the armored villainous choir here. The only way back for Disney is fiscal sanity, spending discipline, and a return to the most basic and fundamental principle of business: give the customer what they want, not what you want them to want. It seems like Nelson Peltz knows this, and thus we say, help us, Obi-Wan Peltz. You're our only hope. And whether they know it or not, Peltz, to my way of thinking, appears to be Disney's only hope. If he fails, expect to see more shit like the Marvels and Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards in The Fantastic Flop. From the center of the earth, this is Dictor Van Doomcock bidding you all, my friends, stay angry.
Ha 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 ha.